Everybody, welcome back to the Kreator Space Podcast. And today's guest is the founder of the Souk system and also the creator of the U3 system, Amanda Soukoulis. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So we're going to get this thing started right off. So firstly, I like to start off the podcast with a question. What is your why?
I love this question. And, I've thought so much about it over the years, and it evolves and it always changes. And part of the why is selfish, and part of it is more ancestral. My papu, I'm Greek. I just got my dual citizenship this year, and
Nice.
yeah, which was super exciting. And I think about the sacrifices that my papu made coming to America. And I'm actually the first Soukoulis to graduate from college, and I don't take that lightly. And he sacrificed a lot because he saw a better future for our family. And so knowing everything that he sacrificed, I wake up every single day knowing that I get to live the American dream through hard work and being able to step into my purpose. And so that's my why. And the other half of that is my health was stripped from me overnight at a very young age. And when that happened, I said, I don't want anyone else to feel the way that I feel right now. And when that happened, it just lit a spark and it lit a fire in me.
Yeah.
And with that, I wake up every day on fire and just ready to go.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I share a similarity with you on that one because I'm the first in my family to go to college as well. So
Let's go.
that's awesome. So another thing, kind of a piggyback of what you just said and where you are today, because I know we had previous conversations and things, and I love your story, reason why we're here today. And the biggest takeaway from our conversation that I had was you stepping out on faith, leaving kind of like the corporate framework and going full time with your business. And I want to ask, like, what was that transition or feel like what emotions were you feeling in that moment when you made that transition?
Yeah. So I was in a very stable, a very secure job working in private equity. And I knew that there was a purpose for it. I knew that there was a tool that was going to be in my tool belt. One day it would make sense why it was there, but I never felt like that was my ultimate, like,
Yeah.
what I was supposed to be doing here. It didn't make sense, but I just kept hearing, like, just be patient, Amanda. Health crisis collapse happens. And then all the pieces just started aligning. And I actually remember I was at Lifetime and I was sitting in the sauna in the steam room actually. And I came out and this woman looked at me. She said, "Were you just in the steam room?" Yes, I was. She said, "I could feel your energy." I said, "Well, what kind of energy did you feel?" She's like, "I felt a lot of grief." I said, "Yeah, I'm waiting for the right moment to make the jump. I feel like I'm being called to something more right now." And there'd been a series of things, divine alignments that had happened the months leading up to it. So I was perfectly primed to be able to make the jump. I just had to have the courage to do it.
Exactly.
And she looked at me and she said, "The time is now." I had full body chills. Went home that day, wrote down exactly what I wanted to do and where I wanted to step into, the spaces, the people that I wanted to impact, and didn't really have it all figured out at all. But that gave me the courage to take action, to be able to say, okay, the time is now. I walked into my CFO's office that Wednesday, resigned, and the week after I launched my business.
Nice. So how long ago was that since you made that decision?
Yeah, that was a year and a half ago.
Nice. So I guess things are going good. It's been a year and a half.
Yeah, above and beyond.
Yep.
Yeah, what I could have ever even imagined.
Gotcha. So what were your biggest obstacles between that year and a half from then and now?
The biggest obstacle that I think that I continually face is discernment.
Mm-hmm.
the right discernment, quieting enough to listen to, okay, what is the next right step for the people that I serve, the right partnerships, the right alignments. Opportunities are endless, information is endless, but being able to get really crystal clear on, no, this is what I was put here to do, these are the people that I was put here to impact. I believe that for me, and it's doing the work yourself. It's not like the business stuff easy.
Yeah.
It's the work that I have to continue to do, so that I set the standard, so that I'm serving my people from an overflow.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So who are your target audience and how do you help them?
Yeah. I help high-performing men and women who, you know, some people, there's the dismiss. They've gone to the doctors. They've tried everything, right? And they're told their labs look normal, but they don't feel like normal. There's the disciplined person, right, who has tried everything, like I just said, and that person feels like a prisoner trapped in their body. And somehow their health has fallen to the wayside. And they're looking to be able to optimize in every area of their life. Sometimes people come to me with autoimmune conditions, sometimes some gut health issues, sometimes brain fog, low energy, and other people come to me and they're like, hey, I just want to optimize my health. And so anyone that's looking for lifelong transformation in the sense of, I want to get off this health hamster wheel, I want to be able to optimize my sleep, my energy, my sex drive, I want to be able to perform better in the gym. I want to be able to perform better at work. I want to be able to be a more present mother because I'm not worrying about my health. So are the people that I serve.
Perfect. So what does that process look like? Say if somebody is watching right now and they're like, okay, that resonates with me. I want to, dive deeper into my health and get a better understanding of my health. And how can I get over that hump?
Yeah. So it's probably helpful to take a step back, right? So what do I do? I'm a functional medicine nutrition practitioner. So I look at the data that's going on inside your body and help you determine what's going on so that we can then optimize your health. So it's a very simple 3-step process. Step 1, uncover. This is where we're going to do advanced precision testing. We're going to look and see what's going on with your gut microbiome. We're going to look and see what's going on with your hormones. How are they metabolizing? What kind of endocrine disruptors or other toxins are impacting your body's ability to be at its healthiest. We take all that data. It's usually 100 pages of data.
Wow.
I analyze it all. I love it. I love to look at data. And from there, that takes us into Uproot. So in Uproot, we actually put the game plan together. Create a 6-month roadmap. Okay, this is what we need to do to systematically heal your body and then get it to a place where we can optimize. So often what's missed in the industry and the healthcare system is we're either fixing symptoms, we're not mastering the systems.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we really systematically work through, because say we find out you have mold toxicity, if you go directly at just getting rid of the mold, could actually create worse problems if we don't properly go in and open up your detoxification systems, if we don't work on healing your gut. There's other foundational pieces. And so what we work through is nutrition, is supplementation, is how do we optimize the systems in your body so that we can make this a place where we get to unleash a lifelong transformation that's created through the right detailed systems and process that we put in play.
Perfect. Thank you for that, because I'm definitely sure somebody needs to hear that, and somebody out there that's watching right now might need your services. So glad that you went into depth on that one. So the next question I want to ask you is, in this digital world that we live in now in 2025 going into 2026, we live in a very digital place where a lot of businesses are marketing online and on social media. So what is your take in regards of your business in connection to social media? And are you even marketing your business on social media?
Yeah, I think social media is used as it it's a place where people can actually see who you are and what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You go look on my stories, you're going to see exactly what I'm doing, right? It's an opportunity for people to get to know, okay, who is Amanda? Yeah, sure, what does she do? But to me, it's a place where I just get to show up and showcase the incredible breakthroughs that my clients experience, get to show a day in the life of what I'm up to, what's helped me along this health and healing journey, and really to let people know that they're not alone. That's why I got into this.
Yeah.
When I was dismissed after doctor after doctor after doctor. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. No, I'm not fine. My estrogen levels are postmenopausal. I put on 35 pounds in a matter of months. And I was doing nothing different.
Yeah. It's something.
There's something going on, right?
Yeah.
And so really what I use social media for is a place for people to see they're not alone. There's answers out there. We just need to get the right data to be able to discern what needs to happen.
Gotcha. That's perfect. Because people do buy from people they like, and they want to understand who you are a lot of the times, because I work with a lot of brands, and that's something that they struggle with, that connection to their client. Anybody can, promote their business and say what service they have, but it takes it to another level when they actually like the person that they're buying for or working with. So I even take that into account in my own business in this studio. Like, a lot of people come to the studio because they know me or want to support my business, because there's a ton of different studios out there. They can go anywhere. But they want to come to my studio because I have my personal brand and I have my standards and things that I have, kind of like an image to uphold, of kind of like excellence and very detailed work. So people love to work with me, so they come back. So definitely can resonate with that for sure. So where are you in your business today? Are you in a kind of a scaling motion? Are we still in the beginning, or are we just maintaining?
We're never just going to be maintaining.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, it's definitely in a scaling mode. How can I help more people more efficiently, more effectively, add more value, help people see greater transformation?
Nice. So when you're not doing transformative work and helping people every day, what's your day-to-day look like on, like, just having fun, hobbies, things you like to do outside of work?
Yeah, I've been a dancer my whole life. Took my first dance class at 18 months old. It was a little mommy and me class.
Wow.
I danced in college for Penn State, and it's my soul battery. So usually on a day-to-day, you can find me at the gym at 5:30 a.m. or at yoga at 5:30 or 6 a.m. I love yoga. I've fallen in love with yoga this year. I've trained with the same trainers since 2021, and that's been just a tremendous blessing. My morning routine is move your body, move your mind, and move your soul, right?
Yeah.
And so move my body, get to the gym, move my mind by reading something, and prayer is really important for me, all of that in the morning. If I can start my day with that, it's going to be a great day, no matter what.
So I assume you are a morning person.
I am definitely a morning person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like you probably have to be at 5:30 in the morning, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, not every morning I wake up and say, I want to get to the gym. But after every workout, I say, I'm so glad I did that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, you need discipline, you need motivation, and you need inspiration. You need all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline alone isn't going to, you can't will your way into life every day.
Yeah.
You do need some motivation. I like different motivation, whether that's a podcast, a video, text message from someone. You need that. That's important. And then you need inspiration. You need to be able to get into a place, especially as a creator, get into a place where
For sure.
you can actually have the capacity to create.
Yeah. And the reason I asked that, because I feel like it's so vital to have, because some people in our space, they just work. They don't have any hobbies. They don't do anything. You look up, years go by, and you're not even enjoying life. Your business turned into basically another job that you tried to get away from in the first place. But like for me, It's creating in general. I don't know what it is. Even since I was a kid, I always knew how to like draw and things like that. So I
Yeah.
was kind of known for just creativity across the board. And just it's just crazy of my transition where I'm at today because I never would have seen myself here.
Hmm.
Because before I'm have my corporate job or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I can't do that every day. I need a creative outlet, right? So I went to YouTube and content creation, and then kind of leading into the story of how I got my studio is I needed a bigger space to create, right? When you have brand deals, brands sending you stuff, everything I can only do so much in my home office. So I was like, hey, let me get a studio, have more space to create, right? And when I'm not using it, I can rent it off to other people to also create. But what happened along that process is it kind of intensified my creativity and I love it. And then I got deeper into it. Now I'm in videography and photography and just we're talking about doing some movies now. It's crazy. So it's just crazy how life takes you down another path and it shows you what you're actually passionate about and get you on that path. Like I'm probably the happiest I've been in a while, in a very long time outside of just
Hmm.
having my family, of course. But like in the workspace, I'm very satisfied because they say if you will do it for free, that might be your passion. And I definitely would do this for free, even though it doesn't make sense to do it for free. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think about that 7-year-old Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
She was a performer. She really embodied freedom at a very young age. You know, freedom's been a core value of mine. I didn't know it when I was 7, but
Yeah.
that's been the through line of my life is freedom. And at first, freedom looked like being able to dance and move my body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then freedom came through travel. I've been to 15 different countries. I
Nice.
lived abroad, right? Like I've been able to see the world, and it's given me so much perspective of wow, there's so much freedom out there. But then when I had my health collapse, I lost my freedom. I couldn't do anything. I felt like a prisoner trapped in my body. And so, really, now freedom for me is inside out freedom and living
Yeah.
in alignment with that. And so,
Exactly.
I think about that 7-year-old version of Amanda and what makes her feel most alive and most free. And it is in those times when I'm able to use my creative freedom.
Yeah.
And that is through dance, that is through entrepreneurship, that is through creation, innovation. How can we optimize things more? It becomes a bit addicting in a
Yep.
positive way, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a positive way. And I'm so happy to hear that for you, that you've found like that space for yourself where you are your most happy. And I would even say it's probably a sense of joy because there's a
Yeah.
difference between happiness and joy. Happiness is external, joy is in here.
Yep.
And when you get into those rhythms of life, joy is what really can supersede any of the lowest lows or any of those highest highs.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And we're all on that journey, even though a lot of us won't admit it, looking for that freedom. When we're kids, you think about the good old days when you don't have to worry about bills or just. I remember a time where I just sat in my room like, wow, I don't have to worry about anything right now. And then when you become a grown up, of course, you got the world to worry about. So in my head, I don't know if other people see it this way. Like once you grow up and become a adult and you're going through life, you're kind of looking for that freedom again. And what that looks like is different for multiple people. But for me, that freedom is, having my life to my own terms, right? Because somebody's freedom might look like, hey, I have a good job. That's what I love to do. For me, that's not it. My freedom will be I'm fully into my business, doing things that I love, something I would do for free and not be upset about it. And also, I can monetize that, make money, and have a living, and also enjoy what I'm doing. That's what freedom looks like to me. And if I can, and then once you have your own business, you can set your own schedule. You don't have to be on a certain meeting you don't want to be on, and yeah, So like at the end of the day, for me, it's all about that freedom, and happy to see that you found your freedom in
Thank you.
today. Of course, of course. So as you grow your business, what's your strategy there in regards to scaling and reaching out to more people? Is it like sharing your story to more platforms? Is it meeting more people, going to networking events? Like, what does that look like for you?
Every day is different.
Yep.
It's the right alignments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm in a season of just full surrender. Like, Lord, where do you want me to be today? And that is, yes, getting in different rooms. That is, yes, being able to share my story more. Like, I love getting on podcasts. I'm such a people person.
I can see that.
I get a lot of energy from, I think about some of the greatest moments of my life, and it's performing, right? It's I get excited with 100,000 fans when in college. That's on a regular basis, performing in front of 100,000 fans. Like, that lights me up.
Yeah.
And so being able to get into more environments where I am able to get in events, get a podcast, all of that. And, I don't need to be, it's not like it's a pitch fest, right?
Yeah.
I just like to meet people where I am. I've just seen the transformation of what functional medicine has done for me, and I want people to know they're not alone. That if they get a diagnosis, that doesn't mean it's forever.
Mm-hmm.
Come out of agreement with those. And through nutrition, through the right supplementation, exercise, hydration, peptide therapy, nervous system regulation, like all of these things, a lot of these things you're already paying for. If we just do it the right way and we master your systems, you can see a whole new lens to your life. What might have been black and white, you now see life in full color.
Yeah.
And now 40 years from now, you're not eating all of your pills as a meal. You're eating really yummy, delicious food. You're still able to travel the world. You're able to pick up your grandkids. You're full of energy. I love that more than anything. When I meet an 80, 90, 100-year-olds and I ask them what's been the secret for them, it's usually, I stayed active, I fueled my body properly, I didn't give in to a lot of toxicity.
Yeah.
Whether that be environmental toxins, whether that be people, the wrong places. There's so much to it.
Gotcha. So with you being a people person, I'm pretty sure you had a lot of conversations and ran into a lot of inspiring people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's something that you could think of from at the top of your head of something somebody told you that helped you in your business or motivated you to get to the next level?
The first thing that comes to mind, so this is what I'm just going to go with right now. For a really long time, I hid behind a computer. I had this limiting belief that if I was in front of the camera, if I was sharing my story, then that was selfish and that was self-centered. Yeah, that's always been a gift of mine. It's been a gift since I was a very young child. I loved performing, always have. And so that was a big refining switch for me. Hey, Amanda, that's not selfish. That's actually a gift of yours. It comes very naturally for you when you're speaking on stages, when you're sharing your story, just being able to communicate and listen. And someone recently said to me, Amanda, don't waste the pretty. Don't waste the pretty. Whatever that might look like. Pretty heart, pretty smile, whatever that is. And I think that there's a pretty within every single person.
Yep.
Don't waste it. Life is too short. I was going through an exercise last night with this mindset group, and they had you grab a piece of paper, break it into 8 squares. Apparently, the average American lives to be 81 years old, according to this study. I think it's a little bit different than when that original study was, but that's what they said last night. So 8 squares, right? A decade for each decade of your life. if you live to be 81, I believe I'll live much longer than that.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, now cut out the squares for the lives the decades you've already lived, right? So, almost, right? 3-4 squares already gone.
Mm-hmm.
Life is too short.
Yeah.
Way too short to be living for someone else, to not be utilizing your strengths. I was always told, like, work on your weaknesses, Amanda. No. Delegate your weaknesses out. Work on your strengths. Double down on your strengths. Double
Makes
down
so
on
much
what
sense,
makes you
yeah.
unique. Right?
Yep.
And so, I think that phrase, don't waste the pretty, there's so many layers to it.
Yeah.
That life's too short to be around people, to be in the wrong environments, to be in the wrong line of work.
Yeah.
Utilize your gifts. Double down on them. Don't be afraid of it. Have the courage to step out and know that when you do step out in faith, the right people, the right alignments are going to find you.
Yeah. That's beautiful, because I can really resonate with that and have a lot of similar situations for myself. Because when I moved to Dallas, like when I tell that story, people are amazed, because when I moved out here, I didn't have a job interview. I didn't have a job. I just moved. So, but previously, a little story time. When I graduated college, I started my first job that Monday after graduation.
Wow.
Because I seen a lot of horror stories. I had a lot of peers that graduated and couldn't find a job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I went to this college too long to not to not find a job. So I'm like, all right, I already had it lined up and started a job.
Yeah.
Time goes by, 9 months in, it's a layoff that happens.
Mm.
And I was a part of that layoff, where it was a very tough moment, because it was my first grown up obstacle, I would say.
Yeah.
So that day, the team got disbanded. They made it seem like we were going to a different team. And my manager at the time, we had a conversation with him earlier in the day. I was like, hey, I'm really interested to go into this other team. What do I need to do to go there? He was like, yeah, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. We're getting everything together. Later that day, time goes by. He's like, all right, you ready for our meeting? I'm like, do I need to bring anything? He was like, no, just come on. We're going down to the HR office. And I'm like, okay, maybe HR knows everything. So we sit down and they say, Hansel, as of today, you're officially terminated. And I'm like, what? Because I've never been fired a day in my life. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Pissed. So I leave, call my mom. I'm like, hey, they just fired me. I'm heated. She was like, well, you did say you wanted to move to Dallas. I'm like, you know what? You're right. Let's go. So I moved to Dallas, and going back to your point, like everything happens for a reason, divine timing, and having faith, because there was nothing but faith moving to Dallas without a job or interview. And I was able to secure a job making double of what I was making in Nashville. And that last spot that I filled at that in that role was only there. Somebody just left the role, and like if I didn't come down when I came, I wouldn't have got it. So I knew I was meant to be here, and that transpired and snowballed effect to where I'm at today, and on this road to entrepreneurship today. So you never know who needs to hear your story. And I'm glad that you're so open to sharing your story, because it's so impactful. Because when we met, I was like, okay, we need to get on the podcast. And just sharing those stories, because sometimes it inspires somebody that might be in a similar situation or in a worse situation that just needs to see a light in a dark space.
Yeah. And, thank you for sharing that. And there's so much to be said about courage. Yeah. Like, you took that step.
For sure.
There could be other people, you might hear someone's story and be so inspired, but you have to be the one to take bold, courageous action.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, that's what just will, the world, like the universe awards that. God awards that.
It
and because that's stepping out in faith And I've been blown away over and over and over again. Like, wow, this is really my life, because
Yeah.
I said that first yes. So that's so powerful. What would be one thing that's like resonated with you? Like for mine, it was don't waste the pretty. What was something that someone had said to you?
One thing that comes to mind that always stuck with me
Mm-hmm.
is growing up in Memphis, Tennessee. It's a lot of people that have a lot of regrets in my city. And it was this older guy that said, "Hey, I was probably in like middle school. He was like, "Hey, if I was y'all age, I'd do a lot of things different." And that shook me to my core. And I was like, I never want to be like you, because imagine, to your point, we don't have that much time here. Imagine you get later on in life and you only got 2 pieces of paper left. And you're like, wow, I wish I would have did this in my 20s, 30s, 40s. And that's such a daunting thought, or just something you have to just settle with, because you don't get that time back. You can't reset. You can't start over, start from the beginning. It's just what it is, and you have to just live with it. And I refuse to live that way. So now I'm going for it all. I don't hold back on anything. If it's something I want to do, I do it. Even to the point where my friends tell me, like, hey, like everything you said you wanted to do, you done it. And I was like, you're right. The only thing that I said I wanted that hasn't come yet is to be a millionaire. So I'm still working on that. So we're going to keep speaking that into existence. But all jokes aside, like, you just have to go for it, because you don't want to live that life of regret, because I look at it like this. A lot of people have a lot of fear to do what they actually want to do. And I ask them, what's worse, that fear or the regret that comes later? Right? And if you think about it, their regret hits and cuts a little deeper, So I tell people to kind of go for it. And the reason I would say half, if not 25% of the reason I got my studio and chose the path of entrepreneurship is to inspire people from my city, because back home, it's only a few things that people are, the youth are into: rap, working at a factory, or doing something they're not supposed to be doing. So I want to show them a different way of success and doing what you call to do. So that's my little soapbox on a little piece of my testimony.
Don't cut
right
that
there.
out.
Yeah.
Don't cut that out. Have you faced a lot of rejection in your life?
Rejection, a good amount. I call them more obstacles.
Yeah.
Because I always, again, get to my goal some way, somehow. But rejection, yes. But most of the time, if something rejects me in life, I look at it as, okay, that's a turning point or a pivot, or it was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be anyway.
Yeah.
So I look at it as an obstacle. So so we overcome that. So enough about me.
Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. That was so fun. I appreciate you sharing
No, of course,
all that.
we having a conversation. I want to ask you too. So what's next for Souk Systems? You've been in business for a year and a half. What's next for you?
Yeah. Continuing to grow and nurture the one-on-one work that I do, making my clients experience the absolute best. Another step for me is getting on more stages, speaking.
Nice.
There's a lot of keynotes that I see in the future, and that's a big passion area of mine. Right out of college, I worked for a company called Deloitte. They're a large professional services firm, well-being team. They had just brought on their first chief of well-being, so C-suite level, making sure that the health of our employees were good. And I was 1% of the entire company helping to deploy these services. And so big project that I'm working on right now is to be able to bring in Souk Systems to the corporate side to help small to medium sized businesses be able to help their employees thrive. Because you've heard of the the statistics around when you have a lot of A players, right?
Mm-hmm.
The vibration of the room raises. But even just one B player, and it can drop the whole level of the room.
Yeah.
And so how do we get organizations to perform better? How do we get them to be more productive? One thing that I go in and speak to companies about is the brain-gut connection.
Yep.
A lot of times if you have low energy or brain fog, or you can't focus or concentrate, your productivity is low, it's connected to your gut. 90% of our serotonin's in our gut. So if 90% of our serotonin's in our gut, and we can deploy resources to help figure out ways to increase the health of your gut, you're going to have a more productive team, you're going to have a happier team. And the work that I did when I was at Deloitte, that's like one of those things where you look back and you're just like, oh, that all makes sense now.
Yeah.
Right? That makes sense why I was so closely connected to the chief well-being officer, to be able to see how they did it on a very large scale.
Yeah. And that's amazing, because I kind of like talking on stages too, because I had a client I had to go see in LA, and I'm trying to see, how much do I want to divulge,
Divulge it. Come on.
So
Tell the people.
My client is Toastmasters, because I feel like I got to add this in here.
Okay.
So my client is Toastmasters, and they were having their annual conference,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted Microsoft to get on stage.
Mm-hmm.
At first, it wasn't supposed to be me. It was supposed to be a coworker, but he ended up not coming. So I'm like, okay. And me being an account executive, I had to, step up. So I'm like, all right, great. It's been a while since I've done this.
Mm-hmm.
So I got on stage, and it was great. I was a little nervous before, but when I got on stage, I felt at home, because I like talking in front of people. I like teaching people. I like communicating with people. And mind you, this is an organization built around public speaking.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'm thinking, okay, no filler words. Let me be on my P's and Q's.
Yeah.
But I got a standing ovation. It was great. People were coming to our table after saying, like, somebody even wanted to take a picture with me. I'm like, okay. This is in case you didn't know, this is my first, on stage speaking engagement. But I was like, maybe I might look into this, because we all have our stories. And if you can articulate that in a way where it resonates with people, I think that's major, and a major gift that has to be shown, right? So, like, with you being happy to get on the stage and talk to people, and I can tell you're very passionate about what you do, that's awesome. So, and I can definitely resonate with that. So maybe we can be sharing the stage sometime. You never know in the future.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. I have someone I'll share with you after the podcast I want to connect you with.
Of course.
For that, yeah.
Of course. So, Amanda, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I know we talked about it in the short term, but where do you see Souk Systems, or, any other business endeavor you might be into?
Yeah. My impossible dream is to help 10 million Americans reverse or prevent chronic disease from manifesting in their body. And I see it over and over again. People come in at a state of chronic disease, and the saddest thing for me would be to see that person go on medications that are just managing the symptoms, not actually getting to the root cause. So with the work that I do, that is my impossible dream. So whatever steps it takes to get there, that's one step at a time.
Yeah.
But that's where I see the vision of it growing to.
Nice. So if you've seen somebody that was in a similar field to you, like if you were to start over, would you do anything differently, or would you do the exact same as you've done before?
It's a great question.
Yeah. I know it's a little loaded. Got some questions within the question.
Yeah, no, but I wouldn't change a single thing. I wouldn't. The way that my story, my business, the leaders, the mentors that I've had around me, I wouldn't change a single thing. I think in the beginning, before I launched, I was waiting for everything to be perfect. And one thing that one of my She was the very first business coach that I hired.
Yep.
She said, Amanda, like, it's never going to be perfect. You just got to take messy action. And growing up as a dancer in front of a mirror, everything had to be perfect. Every thumb, like every single, in nationals routines in college,
Mm-hmm.
we were looking at where was your thumb placed. So the details really mattered. And so
Yeah.
I've always been very detail oriented. And I had to get to a place where I said, messy's okay. It's going to be messy. It's going to be imperfect. The right people are going to come. The right alignments are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I dragged my feet. I think the timing was all as it should have been.
Yeah.
But just take messy action and burn the boats. I believe in burning the boats.
Yeah.
Some people say that you should have your plan B or your plan C, but if you have a plan B or your plan C, your mind's going to go to that plan B or plan C.
Yeah.
It's going to go to safety. We crave safety.
Yeah.
Literally Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So with that being said, no, I wouldn't change a thing because everything happened the way that it should have. And the second that I started really just taking messy, imperfect action, everything worked itself out.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because a lot of people do need to hear that, and a lot of people struggle with that. Is, I would say, analysis paralysis and like not doing and just overthinking about what they want to do, and then it never happens. Like, I've talked to people that say, go ahead.
I was the queen of that.
Yeah.
the queen of that. And I still have mentors and coaches and people in my corner. Like, I had a mentor of mine. He's a Penn State alum. That's where I went to college, and I had I just have a lot of great people in my corner from there. And he literally called me, and he could hear the stress in my voice. I was stressing over stuff that was like, why are you stressing over this, Amanda? And it's just because I care so much, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, I need you to close your computer and just go be a passenger princess for the weekend. I need you to go let your hair down for the weekend, Amanda. Quit stressing about the small things. Mm-hmm. Quit stressing about the big things. Go live life for the weekend. Like, okay, whatever you say, dude.
Yeah.
But he's right.
Yeah.
He's so right. And I'm such an analytical person. I'm so analytical, but the more that I've learned how to drop into my heart rather than staying in my head, that's where everything has blossomed.
Yeah. Because, like, when you go through that, you find the stress, the headache, and the misalignment, I feel like. So when you take a step back and don't overthink and just have action, I think that's when you give God space to do his part. Because, like, we call it analysis paralysis, but it's really you trying to take over your trajectory in your life, you know. Mm-hmm. And you have a part in that, but everybody has a calling, everybody has a path. But once you try to be God for yourself, that's when you run into headaches, frustration, misalignment. But once you act, things happen. Going back to my story, when I just acted, moved to Dallas, things happened. Another story in college, I wanted to model, and I did that for a while. And I was like, all right, I modeled as a kid, but, you know, my mom kind of set that up. I want to do it on my own.
Yeah.
So I did it, and I just went for it. And then I ended up being in front of this store at the time. I don't even know if they're still open. I was in front of every store they had in America and on commercials and everything, just because I made the act to just go for it. And that's when I feel like the magic happens with people, when you just go for it instead of just overthinking it. Mm-hmm. It's still some analytics in the back end that you need to do and some research and some due diligence, but you just got to do it.
Yeah. The ocean speaks to me. I love the beach.
Yeah.
It's so grounding for me. And I remember I was sitting at the beach with my childhood best friend, and we were having a conversation about this, about control, the cost of control, and when you're white-knuckling life. Mm-hmm. And my best friend, she picked up sand, she put it in her hand, she squeezed her hand, and all the sand fell out of her hand. She said, look what just happened, Amanda, when you try to grasp life too tight. All the sand fell out, all the opportunity fell out. When you pick it back up and you just hold it with your hands open, with your palms open, that's that's when life happens. And so constantly,
That's a good point.
it's that push and pull of,
Yeah.
yes, I'm going to take action, because you have to take action.
Of
Prayer
course.
alone isn't going to work. You have to take action. But how do you create the space and the time to prioritize what's most important? You know, God says, put me first, I'll put you in position.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something I'm going through now. And it's been opening things up left and right. It's just so crazy because the things I want to do, I'm making an initiative and just throwing it out there, working with brands, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, let's do it." Enough of those, and I'm fully, yeah. I'm not gonna get too into it because
We'll be close to that
Yeah.
$1 million goal.
Exactly.
There soon.
So going back to our points is just doing it and just trying, So
Oh,
go ahead.
can I reframe something?
Go ahead.
Try insinuates that you're going to negotiate. Just do.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, because a lot of people do say don't try, do. So I get that. Definitely want to do it because I feel like when you're trying, you're still on that teeter of procrastination and maybe doing it.
Your brain, if I literally preach this to my clients, anytime that they use the word try, I say, quit it. You're going to do. Because
Yeah.
when you say you're going to try it, your brain is saying, oh, that's up for negotiation.
Yeah.
And if your brain thinks something's up for negotiation, what are they going to lean towards? They're going to lean towards safety.
Yep.
That's why people hire personal trainers, is because they have their skin in the game, right? That's why I work out with my personal trainers. Yes, I can get to the gym by myself at 5:30 a.m. Do I want to? No. It's so much easier to hit snooze. But when there's that one layer of accountability, all I have to do is show up.
Yeah.
Get my feet in the door. Days are automatically better.
Yeah. You got to push through and have that accountability because at the end of the day, we got one life to live. And I'd rather be the best version of me while I'm here before the end comes because I always tell people once that time comes and it's all said and done, I want to be on my deathbed and say I've done everything I could possibly do and I'm at peace.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get there and have regret. That's probably going to take an extra 2 years off. But you just got to pull it all out there because your soul is called to do certain things. And if you're not in alignment, you're just going to always feel joyless, because when you're doing what you love to do, you have that joy that's unexplainable. Like some people doesn't know let me get into this a little bit. A lot of people struggle with their purpose and what that looks like. And I struggle with that. I'm sure you did. Everybody does. Nobody knows what that really looks like. And what I found, and hopefully this resonates with someone, you found your purpose when you think about something and God puts something on your heart or an idea comes in your head and you literally feel joy behind it. That mixed with you will do it for free, something we talked about earlier in the conversation. That's when you're at least knocking at the door of your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope somebody resonates with that because it's a lot of lost people out here that, that aren't happy where they are today. Most of us aren't. But you got to look for that purpose in your calling in life because you don't have that much time at the end of the day. Because somebody might be looking for you to be their inspiration and you're not doing what you're called to do. So they're never going to get it because you're not doing your part in this grand thing we call life. So I just want to add that in there for anybody that needs to hear it.
Yeah. Ask, seek, knock. I think part of the problem with why so many people are so lost is because they're using so many different crutches in life, whether that be emotionally with food, whether that be alcohol, drugs, sex, porn. Not being able to just be alone. There's so much power when you can be alone and be comfortable with just your own space with no noise. that's when you're going to find what your true purpose and your true joy really is.
Yep.
And that's why my morning quiet time is sacred to me. And it's been a sacred practice for me since I moved to Dallas 4 years ago. That's when I really began crafting it because, you know, the environment changed.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, moved to Dallas. I wasn't planning on staying here, by the way. That's a whole nother story. But God had other plans. He knew he had to get me here one way, and then I said I'm not leaving. And in those first few months, that's when I started crafting my morning routine, and just envisioning who I wanted to be. I didn't know yet what my real purpose was. I was still working with Deloitte and then moved to private equity, but I started being very strategic about getting quiet so that I can hear, oh, this is what this next step is. And you know, it's really cool because you look back then and you start to connect the dots.
Yeah.
And that's the most beautiful piece. But I had to get rid of all the distractions.
You have to
get rid of all the distractions.
So we're about to wrap it up, but I have a few more for you.
All right. Hit me.
I have a few more for you. When you look back, I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. When you look back, is there any moments or decisions that you would change in your journey?
No.
I know it.
No. Rejection is just redirection.
Yeah.
And every single relationship, every single person has opened up another door. And there's always a lesson that's learned. And it's always a reflection of me. What did I learn through this? Not in a selfish way, but I'm constantly growing and evolving. And that's what's going to usher me into this next phase.
Perfect. And something I wanted to ask you earlier, but we got in the flow of the conversation, but I want to make sure I ask because this even is a question I want to hear. What's your take on mentorship and how important is it in business?
Crucial.
Yeah.
Crucial. Maybe this is the athlete in me. Growing up, I was usually playing at least 3 sports at one time until my sophomore year of high school, and my mom said, okay, it's time to pick one sport. So I chose dance. And I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity. But through sports, that's where I saw the power and the strength in coaching. And over time, it's evolved. But I have a coach for everything in my life, a mentor for everything. I still have my personal trainers. Even though I can train myself, I have 2. I still dance on a regular basis. So I have those mentors. I could probably list off 5 that I could call and ask for mentorship. Then there's my spiritual mentors, people that I could call on a dime. Hey, can you pray for me over this? Hey, where in the Bible should I go look for this? Or I just need some wisdom, some counsel. And then in business, there's a plethora of different mentors that I have. I think the most important part about mentorship is, are they where you want to be 5 or 10 years from now? And if they're not, don't seek any advice from them. Yeah. It's the worst thing that you could do. There's this theory called crabs in the bucket. And when one crab's trying to crawl out of the bucket, the other crabs will pull it back down. Not because they don't want to see you win, but because of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They crave safety for you just as much. And so with mentorship, I would say be careful who you ask what. That's where the discernment lies. Yeah. Because everyone's going to have an opinion. Everyone's going to be sharing it from their own lived experiences. Is that person, though, where you want to be?
Yeah. So I have a different perspective. I wouldn't say opposite, but a different journey in mentorship for me. Because I've had mentors, and I have people that's kind of like a mentor today. But my mentors in the past were more corporate. Okay. And the path I want to go to, they don't align. So we I wouldn't say fell out, but stopped communicating. I had a situation where I started, excelling. I got a video of me being at that speaking engagement at Toastmasters and getting kudos and the great things that I'm doing outside in work, right? So I had an old mentor reach out to me on LinkedIn and say, it's crazy how they forget where they come from. And I was like, huh? What are you talking about? Where who comes from? He was like, you. I was like, what do you mean? And he said, I remember when you didn't have a job back when I first came to Dallas. I'm like, that's real crazy to say. And the new me, the old me, a couple years ago probably would have handled that differently. But I was like, hey, I appreciate your, part in my development, moving out here and on my journey. But God has elevated me to higher pastures. But you have a blessed one. And I said all that to say is I kind of put a bad taste in my mouth with mentorship. And some people that I kind of look at as mentors are good, but some I've dealt with in the past have been very difficult to work with. In the city I just come from, everybody's used to, kind of doing it themselves and figuring it out. And I understand like the gravity of having a mentor in the space you want to be in, and it's just been a little difficult for me, I would say, just to be transparent. And maybe I just haven't met enough people. That might be it. But mentorship, I know is great because you get that knowledge from somebody that's been in that space much longer than you, and you can kind of dodge a lot of headaches that they already went through.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm still looking for some of my mentors, I would say.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And there's so many thoughts that I have that just flooded into my brain. Let's see if I can remember them all. The first thing is that person that reached out to you is not where you want to be 10 years from now. So that's a misalignment.
Yeah.
Which just means, and that I hit a point when I was in corporate. It was that aha moment. Amanda, you're not meant to be here. Because I looked at where people were that had been at the organization for 10 years. Said, this is not what I want my life to look like 10 years from now. Yeah. So this person doesn't even drink 8 ounces of water in a day. And I'm just so health oriented, right? Yeah. So I didn't admire that. I didn't respect it. That was the problem, is I didn't respect it. And so I said, I got to get out of here. If someone is not where I want to be, they're not a mentor.
Yeah.
And I will say this too, the journey of entrepreneurship, it can be so lonely.
For sure.
It can be so lonely. I mean, you just shared with me I'm the first and only female podcaster guest on your episode, so double that. And it's like, as a female entrepreneur, it can be super lonely. And what I will tell you is that the right alignments and the right people will come. There have been seasons where I'm like, wow, this feels so lonely. And then all of a sudden the right alignment will show up. And sometimes you're just in that middle where you're not yet elevated to there because you're just starting, but you will in time.
Yep.
And I believe that the right mentors, the right partnerships, the right alignments are out there for you. I do believe that. But I also think that there's a lot of power in figuring it out. Just figuring it out.
For sure.
And
because I'm able to be a mentor because I'm going through it myself. I had to bump my head on a lot of things, even with this business and other businesses. So, like, I mentor others as well, like my younger brother, other people I know that reach out to me a lot about the business side of things. I have a ton of friends that I'm the business guy in that friend group.
Yeah.
And I take pride in that. And I'm also looking to continue to grow, of course. So I'm still also open to having a mentor. But I'm just glad that we both shared those perspectives, because some people are seeing your side and my side and finding that middle.
Yeah.
And getting that relatability.
I'll also say, too, one more thing is leverage. So with mentorship, there was a period of time in my life where I was craving it. So what did I do? I put my skin in the game financially to be able to receive that mentorship. Now that because I put my skin in the game financially, and that's like, instead of investing money into my stocks for the year, I invested into my own personal development. And by investing into my own personal development, that then has opened the door to a handful of different mentors that have come through a little bit more organically.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you do have to put some skin in the game and say, man, do I really want to invest this money right now to gain this mentorship? Probably not. My first business coach, that was the scariest investment of my life. Life. I'm like, I don't even know what business I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm sending you all my money, and there's just something about you that I know you're going to help me change the trajectory of my life. Mm-hmm. And she did. And the cool thing is now we're partnered up, like
nice.
in to some capacity, to some extent. Right. And so that's the power of it. The power of, you organically, it might take more time to find those right mentors, but there's also something to be said about putting a little bit of skin in the game, investing into people so that you can time collapse things. That's what coaching does. That's what mentorship does. It time collapses.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a mentor that just said to me, Amanda, I made all the mistakes so you don't have to. And he goes, I'm going to help you figure out how to see who are the wolves wearing sheep's clothing. Mm. And if I paid him however much I paid him just for him to teach me 1 or 2 lessons, that will probably save me a whole lot of money, time, and most importantly, energy. It's worth every penny.
Yep. I agree. So thank you for that. So if you've seen that and you resonate with that, definitely let us know down in the comments. So my last question for you, Amanda. So what does success look like today versus when you started?
When I started business?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't look through the lens of success.
More around just impact?
It's impact for me. Mm-hmm. It's impact, and it's, did I wake up and do the things that I said I was going to do today? Did I give it my best? Did I show up? Was I present? Was I planted where my feet were today? Because I find that when I'm just planted and I'm present and I'm that passenger princess just enjoying the ride of life, obviously working my butt off, but in that flow, that's what success is.
Yeah. Sounds good to me. So I'm going to wrap this thing up. So tell the people where they can find you. And if they want to talk to you more about their health and how they can elevate that, where can they find you and how can they contact you?
Yeah, best way to find me is on Instagram at Amanda Souks, AmandaSouks. Send me a direct message. Happy to get some testing done, right? Let's figure out what's going on inside your body so that create a roadmap, a plan to really optimize.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining on the podcast today. So we're going to wrap this thing up. Thank y'all for watching the Kreator Space. And like always, people, until next time, peace.